absolutely delighted and grateful to chat to a Springbok legend, an awesome human, Victor Matfield. Victor, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. But first question, sort of the British Irish Lions, and you must be a very proud Springbok to see the way the squad played, especially after 2 years of no rugby.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, firstly, we're just happy that the tour happened. I think if you think back a year, 6 months, no one knew if this was going to happen. And it's such a great tradition. Every Springbok wants to play against the British Irish Lions. And yeah, for the players to get the opportunity was fantastic. And for the fans to watch it was just unbelievable. Yes, I still feel for the players. I think they missed out. I mean, there's no experience like running out on a South African stadium. For me, it was Loftus, where I played most of my games. And I mean, it feels like a away game with all the singing and everything from the supporters of the British Irish Lions. But yeah, luckily it happened. Look, very intense tour, very difficult tour, a lot of controversy. But still, I mean, for a team, they world champions, but they really haven't. I mean, normally in a year and a half or 2 years' time, you change the little things. They get new players, get introduced to the squad. These guys almost fell back to what they did in 2019.
Yeah.
Kept the same players, they went out there, and they did the job. So, I mean, the New Zealanders couldn't do it 4 years ago, and luckily we could do it for the second time in a row.
No, it's true. I'll touch on New Zealand in a bit. But, obviously lots of opinions as to how well the squad has done, the players, etc., etc. But the coaching staff must be one really tightly knit unit to be able to execute the game plan that they did, don't you feel? The guys are really sending the same message across to everyone.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is, I think from 2016-17, we really went through a difficult time with Alistair Coetzee, and I love Alistair. I mean, he was a fantastic assistant coach with us when we won the World Cup in 2007. We tried to go out there and we weren't sure how we should play. There's always a lot of pressure playing more attractive rugby, playing more ball in hand, but that's not South Africa. South Africa is very good at the pressure game, going to the set piece, going to aerial battle kicking game, putting teams under pressure, scoreboard pressure, and then we love playing off turnovers. If you look at the World Cup final, how well we played and scoring a lot of points because England wanted to play against this fantastic defense of ours, and that created turnovers. So, yeah, I think the nice thing about Rassie and Jock, the two of them are best mates. I was a player when Rassie was still playing and Jock was the physiotherapist at the Cats under Laurie Mains. And those two guys come for years, and they're so close. They think exactly the same about the game. So even though Rassie is director of rugby or waterboy, whatever he is now, the two of them are still a close-knit unit. They think the same about the game. They drive the same mindset, how the game should be played, and all the players bought into it. They've had so much success with this game plan. They just buy into it and they believe in it. And yeah, they're very good at it. I mean, if you look at the two packs, we can play every game. Everyone believes in it, and we're very good at what we're doing.
No, very much so, Victor. I agree with you, everything that you said there. And, like you mentioned, the set pieces, and I think a lot of people, everyone knows we're good at set pieces, but it's a strength that we just seem to be getting better at. And is it fair enough to say that we almost reinventing the set pieces and just getting better and better and better at it? And it's almost like people are still trying to play catch up with us in that regard.
Yeah, you have to. I think the moment you stay exactly with what you believe in, there's probably guys that will catch up and they will go past you. So, yeah, I think the set piece is a very strong stronghold we've got. I must say that we went through years where the scrum wasn't probably as strong, but all of a sudden we've got all these props coming through. I mean, if you look at that third test, a guy like Ox Nche that played in the first test, that were outstanding. They weren't even available. And I mean, a beast that played there for 12 years that just retired, and you think, Beast is not there, how are we going to replace him? And all of a sudden, there's just more guys coming through. So, yeah, we're very fortunate. Actually, I had a chat to one of the owners of one of our franchises in South Africa this morning, and he was very worried about how do you stop a maul. And I said, I love a maul. Why do you want to stop it? Let's keep going. There's certain ways to stop it, but if you stop it, that will create more space and to attack for the backs, because they have to put 8 guys in there, and then there's 7 guys defending the rest of the field. And the same with the scrum. I mean, the moment your scrum is so strong, all of a sudden the loose forwards have to sit on the scrums, and that creates opportunities for your backs again. So, yeah, if you can get your set piece very strong, it creates other opportunities for you to attack from.
Excellent. Well, I think that's why we must keep dominating it, because it's awesome to watch. But since we're talking about set pieces, and obviously you played lock, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant at what you did. But I think even Etzebeth and Franco Mostert have to be the best pairing in the world at the moment. They just seem to be doing everything right, and hopefully it stays that way. I don't know, what are your thoughts? New Zealand might not agree with that statement, but they're jolly good at what they do.
Yeah, it's a hard call. I mean, before the test series, I thought Eben and Luit was the best combination. Now Franco Mostert came in, and he was just outstanding. I mean, in the third test, he moved to the loose trio, and with his work rate, it's just unbelievable. I thought in the second test, when Itoje came on, he brought a lot of calmness to the line-out and to kickoff. He was very good moving back, taking those kickoffs, taking the pressure off the loose forwards at the back. So, yeah. And then you think about it, a guy like Itoje Snyman, that was right up there, isn't even available. So, yeah, the potential we've got at the moment is just unbelievable. But you still will have to look at a Retallick Whitelock. I mean, that combination's been there for years as well. So they're right up there.
But yeah, that's interesting. But I think Etzebeth has got a lot of fire in his belly, and he's there to make an impact and obviously prove a point. But you see him getting over 100 caps for South Africa.
No, he's close to. So I thought my records were pretty safe for a while, but I think Eben is very quickly on his way there. And I mean, he's just an outstanding player. You get the same intensity from him week in and week out. And there's a lot of people talking about Itoje. I'm still not sure. I don't think if you pick a World 15, I don't know where to pick Itoje. Is he a 4? Is he a 5? Is he a grinder? Is he a line-out specialist? Is he... But with Eben, you know, I mean, that's like myself and Bucky's the combination. Bucky's is the enforcer. That's what Eben is. Then you've got a Franco Mostert that's got the line-out ability, and he's got the... he can run around the park. I mean, he's got the mobility. So, yeah, I think in the two of them, you've got a combination that's very good. And I mean, Itoje coming in there at 5 as well can also fill that role. I mean, his line-out ability is fantastic. It's probably a bit more physical like a Mostert, but probably not the same ability as a Mostert brings to the party.
Yeah, but like you said, it's fourth for choice, and it's good that we can nitpick and see how these guys are doing, and just, brilliant space. And it's really, really good. But now it's so interesting because, you mentioned Bucky's, and I mean, he was absolutely, I want to say deadly on the field, because he was so good as well. But I mean, that must have been a brilliant guy to know that you've got on your side when you're running out there on the field, Victor.
Yeah, somehow rugby always stays the same. You want to know physically you can dominate the other team. And I mean, if you've got a Bucky's Botha, Bismarck du Plessis, Eben Etzebeth, Beast on your side, then you just know you run out there. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. You know you've got the upper hand. And I remember, and it wasn't an international game. It was a provincial game where we played Western Province. And at that stage, they had Skalkberger. They had many guys had Joe van Niekerk. And at some stage, there was like almost a scuffle. And Bucky's came in, and Joe van Niekerk wanted to come close. And Bucky's just came. and he just walked back. And and he turned around and he just walked away. And then you just know you've got the upper hand. And I think in that second test, same happened. And Itoje almost diving to try and get a penalty for being manhandled. You'll never see a Bakkies Botha. You'll never see a Etzebeth give that step back just to say, oh, I can get a penalty. They're always coming forward. They're almost in your face. There's no chance they'll do that. So, I think we're very fortunate to have a guy like Bakkies, and then to get a guy like Eben stepping into his shoes and doing a very good job.
Yeah, brilliant job. Yeah, great there. Yeah, legends, absolute legends. But there were lots of points to talk about the Lions series, and some really good highs, maybe one or two lows. But where was one of the best moments for you in the series? You can talk about Mornay Stan converting right at the end there. Chethan Colby was excellent on the wing. Where was one moment for you that really stood out where you thought, yo, that's exactly what the series is all about?
I think the tackle that Sia Kolisi made in that second test. We were under pressure. Sia was under pressure, and someone actually asked me today, man of the series. And although we always talk about the forwards, in my head it was Damien De Allende and Lukanya Arm. The two of them got very close. I think although they play a different role, the work rate, the defense, the chasing balls, just winning turnovers, the effort the two of them put in is just unbelievable. But when people ask me man of the series, and I was very critical of Sia before this test series because I thought he was way off the mark. He wasn't playing the way he should be. That first test, he was outclassed by Alan Wynne-Jones, talking to the referee, the way he played. And then all of a sudden, he stepped up. He said it also after the second week. That was the hardest week as a Springbok captain he's ever had in his whole career. And that tackle just before halftime, if the British and Irish Lions scored that try, that was probably series over.
Yeah.
And the way he got in there, and then from the second test and the third test, the way he played, the way he led the team, the way all of a sudden he turned his game around, I just think motivated the whole team. And that tackle just before halftime, I think that was the critical moment in the series.
Sure. Excellent. Oh, that's brilliant to hear, Victor. Yeah, it was really good. Well, I think it's done is just made us a bit more excited for the next sort of set of fixtures, and that's obviously the Rugby Championship. But how much more do we need to prove? We've done so well. I know we play Argentina soon, and it's not the best 15. Well, with all due respect, it's not the 15 that have played as much as the series. But how much energy do we need? How well do you think we need to do there in the Rugby Championship?
Well, it's difficult. There's a standard now. We're the world champions, so we need to win every game. Otherwise, there's a lot of people that's not happy. So as you do better, the pressure just gets more on a team. I think this is going to be a very difficult week. I've been in this situation where you've won something that you've worked for a very long time. It's very hard mentally to pick yourself up. So I think it's a good thing that there's a lot of changes, but a lot of those guys were just as happy and winning against the British and Irish Lions. So I think this is going to be a difficult week. And then again, the British and Irish Lions is a tough team, but the ultimate test stays against the All Blacks. So that 20 minutes after halftime against the Aussies last week just showed the quality that they've got. They can hurt you from anywhere from the pitch. We'll get different questions. They will play with ball in hand. They will, like people always say. I always said you can't beat New Zealand at their own game. And I've heard the quote this week, you can't out-box the box. And the British Irish Lions tried it. They couldn't do it. Yeah. All Blacks will come with their own game plan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the All Blacks will have a full go at us with ball in hand. So it will be a different challenge.
No, excellent. But Victor, that has to be the greatest rivalry in the world, South Africa versus New Zealand. I know there's other ones there that are quite important to people, but that has to be the biggest rivalry, South Africa and New Zealand, don't you think?
No, it's the biggest challenge. I've won a World Cup, and I'm very proud of it. I've won against the British Isles Lions, and I'm very proud of it. I think the proudest moment for us was in 2009, after beating New Zealand 3 times out of 3 in 1 year. And then at the end of the year, I had the opportunity to captain the Barbarians to beat them a 4th time in 1 year. So, I mean, you don't beat them often. So, yeah, that stays the ultimate test to play the All Blacks.
There we go. No, excellent. Can't wait for it to happen. It's going to be brilliant. But Victor, if you don't mind, I just want to touch on your career briefly. And it was quite an interesting one because you started at the Griquas, and it was almost like you decided to say, here I am. I want to prove myself a bit. But Griquas has also been responsible for producing some really good rugby players and helping their career move forward.
Yeah, so I didn't start. Like I started with the Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah.
Rugby under 21 with the Bulls, and then from the Bulls I played SN21 for 2 years. Also started playing for the senior team in my final year as a 21-year-old. But I mean, Crainer Otto was the #1 choice with the Bulls. He was also World Cup winner, best lock in South Africa at that stage in the #5 jersey. So I just thought, listen, let me go take opportunity at Griquas. Let me play and show what I can do. And I was very fortunate to have Swayze the Brain there. That's the guy that always thinks out of the box. And he actually came up to me and said, listen, Victor, when it comes to line-out, you do it whatever you want. Don't think about what they did in the past. You run the line out as you wish. And I've changed quite a few things. I started calling everything in the line-out. In the old days, you had the scrum half or the hooker calling where you want to throw. Then the lock will call back. Does he want to straight up or back ball or whatever? And I changed that whole thing. And even I remember my first week at the Springboks side, you had Mark Andrews, Andre Venter, Rassie Erasmus, all of them there. And Mark Graaf was there. And he said, Victor, come in. Just come show the guys what you did with the Griquas at line-out time. And I was like, really? Must I tell Mark Andrews what to do? And so Swayze the Brain gave me that freedom to play around with it. So yeah, Griquas is a very good start for me.
No, excellent. But then Victor, Blue Bulls, phenomenal start, phenomenal setup, and a number of interviews I've had, I've just always been in awe of what the Blue Bulls have achieved for so many years. But I think it was also a bit of a driving force behind you to prove what you're, as you just mentioned previously. But that success, that hunger for success is very much part of who you are, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, you always need someone to drive the vision. We at Heine Kameya getting a lot of no-name brands in at a time. I mean, I came from Griquas, Bucky's came from the Falcons. There were so many guys that were at smaller unions or at under 21 level that he said, listen, I believe in you. I've got this vision. We want to be the best team in the world. And yeah, then we created something. And I mean, from that success, we got joined by a Frida Priya, a Wynand Olivier, P.S. Spies from our own schools in the Pretoria area. And we created this unbelievable team. So yeah, it all started with Heine Kameya, getting everyone together and giving us that vision that we wanted to be the best in the world. I mean, at that stage, we lost 11 out of 11 games in Super 12 by record margins of 60 points. But we started building on something and believing in what we're doing, almost like what Rassie and them did with the Springboks now, believing in how we want to play, what's important, fitness, teamwork, family, all those things that makes a successful team.
No, that's good to hear. Really, really good. But I've never really chatted to someone at your caliber who's played and won the Super Rugby Championship. But is that going to be missed quite a lot amongst the rugby players? Because now everything's moving to the north. What are your feelings, Victor?
Yeah, if you just look at rugby, I still believe Super 12, Super 14 was the hardest competition in world rugby to win. I mean, in a World Cup, you only need to play 2, maybe 3 good games to win a World Cup. In a Lions series, you only have to win 2 games to win the series, where in Super Rugby, you had to be consistent. You had to beat the best 10, 11 weeks in a row, and then you have to go into a playoff and still beating the best players in the world. So for me, the toughest competition ever. I think the Northern Hemisphere did catch up, but for me, they will never be the same challenge as playing the 5 New Zealand franchises. That's some of the toughest. I mean, traveling there, playing the Crusaders in Christchurch or the Blues in Auckland is pretty tough. So we'll miss it. I think financially, probably a better move for us to go up north, for fans to travel, to go support, to be involved in the competition, probably better. So, and I mean, the Northern Hemisphere, I mean, there's so many of the Southern Hemisphere top players playing there. So I think the level of rugby has lifted. But yeah, I'll always miss those early mornings getting up, watching Jano Loma, Tano Manga scoring 3 tries in a early morning while having a nice coffee. So you'll always miss that. I think financially a better move to go up north.
No, for sure. No, definitely. Well, yeah, let's see what it has to offer. But Victor, as we draw to an end, and you have had a very successful career, but have there any been 1 or 2 tough moments for you that you're happy to share about, where you thought, well, maybe things are looking a bit tough here and I have to push through in the situation?
Well, you always go through tough moments. I mean, 2007 with the Bulls, when we won the Super Rugby for the first time, we somehow lost 2 of the first 3 games after there was so much expectation. I mean, then you go out to a store to buy your groceries and everyone just looks down. They don't want to talk to you. And probably one of the toughest weeks of my life was after the loss against Japan. Came back at 38 years old. A lot of pressure on me to perform. We played against Japan, lost that game. I mean, the pressure that was on the team was just incredible. You can't explain it. That changed room afterwards. And then Heineke Meyer said, Victor, you're the most experienced. You need to go talk to the media. Not even the captain. I had to go out. So those things are tough. But I mean, again, lessons learned. I mean, from there, we pulled it back. Pressure, being under pressure every week. And yeah, we didn't win the World Cup. We lost with 2 points against New Zealand in the semi-final that went out at a pretty easy final. So we were 2 points away from winning a World Cup from after we lost against Japan. So just if guys pull together in tough times like that, what you can do was probably, again, 3 or 4 of my best weeks ever in a Springbok jersey.
No, that's excellent, Victor. Well, Victor, been brilliant to chat to you. Thank you so much for your time. Waiting to see if Rassie is going to get into trouble, but wait and see. Hopefully not, because that was interesting what he did. But yeah, but Victor, like I say, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and yeah, looking forward to some great rugby.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Bye.